the time of Miami Music Week, which we just took a hit because they canceled Ultra Music Festival, but Miami Music Week is still scheduled to go along with Winter Music Conference. So we have a big album coming out right along the time that conference starts. So
that's awesome.
Really
Where
excited
can
about
people
that.
find that?
It's going to be on Spotify, Apple Music, pretty much anything, Amazon Music, all music platforms. You'll be able to listen to it, stream it. If you want to buy it, go to Beatport and buy it. It'll be there as well. But we're really excited about this because this is our coming out party for 2020. So for us, we usually ramp up in March. So I would say March through August, we are super active.
Good.
And October, November, December, we're really going back to the game planning for the next year.
Okay.
And then like December, January, February, we're fine tuning what we're going to do for the year. And then March, usually around Ultra Music Festival, we're coming out hard. So that's kind of how we schedule our years with OCMG and EDM DFW.
Now, if people want to follow you guys and see what's going on and see what you guys are actually getting into, how can they do so?
Oh yeah, we're on all social media platforms, from Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, at EDM DFW, or just search EDM DFW. There's a website, edmdfw.com.
Right.
If you want to know more about One City Music Group, everything on social media is OCMG_forever. Or you can just go to onecitymusicgroup.com. So we're all over social and the web. We have our .coms, we have the social media, we have our podcast. We have a lot of different ways that you can connect with us if you're interested.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming out and talking about what's going on. I've never been to an EDM show, but I think I'd like to go.
Yeah, you should. Definitely. It'll be a lot of fun. Seriously.
I was going to say, I was telling him before that I went to the Worlds Collide the last PY1 night, and it was definitely something to go to. So if any of them are anything like that, you definitely want to go out.
Awesome. Right. Yeah, definitely. I hope to see y'all out and we can.
Without a doubt.
We can kick it, have some fun.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I'll be there.
Heck yeah.
This time I'll know what I'm doing. I'll be prepared.
All right, thank you so much.
We're here with Frostbite Cosplay, made up of Aspen, Briston, and Bryce Eden. How are you guys today?
We're doing well this morning.
Great.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having us.
So, who came up with the idea to do cosplay?
We kind of fell into it a little bit. Aspen and I went to we were going to an event, and they were trying to break the world record for the most video game characters. And so we just kind of threw some quick stuff together out of like going to Goodwill and whatnot for it. Kind of fell in love with it, and it's just kind of spiraled out of control since then.
And then I came on later in the scene where they were doing an Overwatch group, decided to throw together Bastion, and now I'm here.
Excellent.
So you guys make pieces for the Dallas Fuel, which is our local Overwatch team. Do you travel with the team at all? And if you do, what's the reception around the country?
We haven't traveled with them yet, but I mean, just on the local scene, people love being able to see the characters that they spend so much time on in games. So we get a lot of really good response, both from full adults to the 8 or 10-year-old kids running around, and it's a lot of fun to see the reactions.
Do you get a lot of requests for photos and stuff like that?
We do, and that's kind of our big thing. Is that we actually Dallas Fuel is the second Overwatch team. We originally started with a commissioned piece for the Houston Outlaws, and then we started working with Dallas Fuel, and we've been working with them since. And we do it. Basically, we're there to hype the crowd up, to help bring the event to life, and to provide a unique experience that brings the Dallas Fuel events that much better than anybody else. I mean, we've done custom T-shirt cannons, custom props, things like that, and just everything that they need to bring their events to life.
Right. I've also noticed that Justin Rojas has given you guys a flag, so he's clearly endorsing you guys for.
Yeah, and We have contracts, or we work on a contract deal with the Dallas Fuel. So when they need something, they come to us. It's all a paid partnership type of thing, and so we are officially, I guess, hired by Fuel for this kind of stuff.
Awesome. Very nice. That's really
and
cool.
they take really good care of us.
Have you always been interested in doing this, or is it something that just kind of happened that you fell into?
Oh, it definitely just kind of happened. It started out, like we said, we did one event, kind of decided that this whole costume thing was fun, and then we really, I think, got in over our heads because the second thing we decided to do was this 14-foot-long Toothless the Dragon suit.
Wow.
No experience in anything like that. A lot of YouTube videos and a very stressful year getting it done, but after we got that done, we figured that, hey, the sky's the limit. We got this thing done. What can't we do? And kind of just started plugging away, and it's really just become its own entity.
Very nice.
Yeah, it's awesome that you're able that like what you're talking about, kind of getting in over your head, but now feeling like empowered by it almost because you're like, well, I did this. What else? We can do anything now. That's really cool.
So yeah, speaking of that, how long does a typical piece take to create, and how long does it take to get inside on one of those?
So the pieces, it depends on what it is, but our big suits like Orisa, Reinhardt, stuff like that we're most known for, they generally take a month to 6 weeks to build. Wow. And the suit up's actually not that bad. We've got a video up on our social media of me fully suiting up in our 8-foot-tall Reinhardt.
Right.
And it took, was it 3 minutes and 40 seconds?
Yeah, around 3 minutes.
To put it on.
That's not bad at all.
And so, yeah, and we specifically, because our Toothless, the first one that we built, we didn't know what we were doing, and the first time that I wore it out, I almost died. Like, it was one of those things that things were rapidly becoming not okay. And so since then, we've really put a focus on making sure that our costumes can be worn, can be comfortably worn, that we can move around, and that we can put them on and take them off rapidly enough to be practical.
Right. Now, did you ever imagine making a career out of doing this?
No.
Yeah, no, definitely not.
No.
No, it's a fantastic side thing. It's really a lot of fun to get the just to be able to be creative and figure out how to make things that are just sitting in a video game come to life.
Right.
So I love the challenge aspect of it, but I don't know that I would want to sustain myself 24/7 off of it.
Okay, so this is like a part-time gig for you guys.
This is a part-time gig for us. It's become a very large part-time gig. I mean, Team Envy, that has the Dallas Fuel and stuff alone, they keep us pretty busy. We also work with a lot of conventions and such, as well as other Overwatch League teams that have commissioned us for various things for later in the season. We've worked with AOE Creative to do things for them, and so we stay pretty busy, and it's become a very involved and very busy part-time gig, but it still is very much that. It's a part-time job.
You guys do these at home, or do you have a space?
We do them at home, but it started out where we had an extra bedroom that became the workspace, and then the garage, and then so it's kind of enveloping more and more territory.
We're kind of at that point now where we have a studio with some bedrooms attached to it.
I know that game. Yeah. I know that game. Sure.
So does Arlington have a particular character that you find is their favorite, or a particular video game universe that people seem to really enjoy?
I mean, Overwatch has always been incredibly popular for us, and then as far as the Overwatch cast goes, Reinhardt is usually the most noticeable, and then Orisa is a very close second.
Right.
I think overall, people just, because we do focus on the larger costumes, that, it's not just a person walking around. You've got some massive robot or some non-human shaped thing. I think people are really just kind of drawn to that, hey, look at this weird thing. What is it? I'm going to go check it out.
Yeah, we saw you guys, I think, at the Esports Awards. He and I were there as media, Rhodey and I.
Yep.
And so we definitely saw you, if that was you guys.
That was
us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Trying to finagle your way through a doorway with these giant suits on, having to go sideways, having to take pieces off. We were standing there looking at you guys for probably 10 minutes, just kind of, how are they going to get through this door?
Right.
And y'all figured it out eventually.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
it was really entertaining, and we enjoyed it.
But I mean, like you said, you're 8 feet tall at that point.
Yeah.
And then how wide is it roughly?
Reinhardt is a little bit wider than an average door frame. If they're a larger than average door, I can usually kind of pan my way through. Arissa, being the centaur, is a little bit different because she's wide. She's got the extra legs coming off the back. There's just no fitting that through a door, and so we've got to be creative in how we attach pieces to our costumes to think about practicality of being able to get through doors and upstairs and in elevators and stuff like that. Because if we can just lock ourselves in a room and that's all we can do, and we can't, we've got to be able to pose with people, we've got to be able to interact with people and bring those characters to life. And so that's all stuff that we have to, in the planning phase, really think through, is how is this going to work? How can we make this possible?
That's so, I had never really thought about the practicalities of, until you started mentioning, you're like, we saw, they're having trouble getting through the door. That's something that, I just never would have thought about myself, so kudos to you.
And it's definitely a trial and error thing where, I mean, we've got ourselves in a couple pickles and been like, we can't do this again. We have to fix this.
So, switching gears a little bit, we have a segment on the show we call the Tournament of Toppings. We're trying to find the best pizza place in Arlington. Do you have a favorite pizza place in Arlington?
Oh, boy. It kind of depends on the mood.
That's fair. I think a lot of people we talk to kind of, I'm that way.
I mean, personally, I'm a big Gino's East fan. But it does. It just depends on the day, depends on what I'm after. Because Chicago pizza is phenomenal, but it's not necessarily an everyday pizza. So,
and it's not exactly the quickest pizza to get either.
For sure.
No, that's fair.
Do you have any other places you like besides Gino's? Not Chicago-style pizza?
I mean, if there's a hole-in-the-wall brick oven place, I will definitely try it at least once.
There's a place down south called
South
Corky's.
Corky's is pretty good.
We went there, I don't know, 2 months ago now, but we really enjoyed that one.
And then Blaze in North Arlington, I believe, is the same. So, but so if people want to follow you guys on social media, and then you guys have YouTube tutorials also.
A couple,
Yeah, we have a few. That's one thing that we're going to try to expand on, is doing more YouTube tutorials.
Right.
The problem that we run into is that because we do spend so much time on commissions and events, and we've always got so much going on, that finding the time to sit down and film a tutorial becomes difficult. But yeah, we do. We're Frostbite Cosplay on most platforms. Frostbite Cosplay TX on a couple.
Gotcha.
What made you come up with that name?
Oh, interesting story. So before the costume thing, we really got into molecular gastronomy and candy making, and we're like, hey, this is a ton of fun. And so playing with liquid nitrogen with your food is a lot of fun.
It sounds fun.
At some point, we briefly decided that, hey, let's try to do part-time catering or whatever. And so we started looking for ideas, and because we were playing with liquid nitrogen so much, just became Frostbite. And then when it turned into costumes, we were too lazy to change the logo, I guess, and it just turned it from confections to cosplay.
Yeah, and that's really it, is that we just, the candy making business, it just never really materialized. We were both too busy with other stuff, and it just never really came together. But we had a logo, and so when we decided to move forward with the costumes, it's like, well, we've got this logo, so here we are.
I think it works too. I would not have known that unless you told me that. So that's cool. Do y'all have any events coming up that people can check you out at or see you at?
Yeah, absolutely. We are featured guests at Fan Expo Dallas coming up the end of this month. Awesome. We'll have a big booth set up. We're working with Dallas Fuel and TNT Cosplay Supply on the booth. And so Fuel's going to let us borrow some of their photo backdrops. And TNT has sponsored us to build a full-sized wrecking ball from Overwatch that will actually be set up and available for kids and such to get inside the mech and take photos actually piloting.
That's so cool.
So we'll have...
I've seen pictures of it already. It's looking really, roughly how tall is it so far?
4 feet-ish.
4.5 feet.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, it's geared more towards, 8, 9-year-old kids or whatever. You could probably squeeze an adult in it, but it wouldn't be easy.
Yeah.
We'll have some other props for adults if they want to pose with, Anna's rifle, or we'll have a Junkrat trap, a Doomfist gauntlet, things like that that'll be available for adults if they want to pose for photos. And then the following weekend, April 4th and 5th, Dallas Fuel's got another home game here at the Toyota Music Factory, and we'll be there all geared up in all of our stuff supporting them.
There we go.
Great. Thank you so much for coming on. How much fun. Check these guys out on YouTube and all their social media. It's really neat.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thanks for having us.